All right, so we're now, nearing the end of 2022. What a wild 3 years it's been in real estate, right?
Certainly.
Extremely low rates, crazy buyer demand, not enough homes to satisfy that. And then in 2022, it just got flipped upside down, right? We saw interest rates go up 3+%. Buyer demand has cooled. We're now in this kind of stalemate in real estate right now. If I don't know if you would agree with me on that, but where buyers want to buy, but they're hesitant, or there's an affordability issue. Meanwhile, sellers are motivated to sell, but they're maybe not so realistic on their price, right? So we've seen kind of this stalemate. What we've seen lately, moving into 2022 and now going into 2023, is we're finally starting to see interest rates drop.
Right.
So one thing I wanted to ask your opinion on is, now that interest rates are dropping and all these buyers are going to come back into the market, is there enough homes for sale to satisfy the type of demand that many predict might be similar to what we saw in 2021, where there was very little supply and a lot of demand? If rates drop, I see a lot of buyers coming back. What do you see in regards to the inventory level?
Yeah, it makes sense. It's a really interesting time because obviously as we're filming this, we're kind of in the midst between Thanksgiving and Christmas time, which traditionally, going back 3 and beyond years, has been a natural slowdown. The past 2 years, I think in 2021, December was the craziest month of the year. So we can't compare those. But we're sitting in a situation where I feel like there's some reluctancy for sure on the buyer's perspective, even though we have seen that relief in interest rates. When we saw that relief in interest rates a little earlier in the year, we saw kind of a reinvigoration in the market of buyers, and then rates jumped up again and the slowdown happened.
Sure.
So it should be really interesting to see what happens in the turn of the new year. People have gotten past the holidays. They said maybe they were going to take a break on things over the holidays. Gotten past the holidays. As we get into mid to late January, what's going to happen? Well, what I track the inventory in my local market weekly, and I've seen just a depletion week over week over week.
Got it.
Yeah, there was a high maybe a couple months ago at some point, but currently just super, super low. So that inventory is impacted by a number of things. Obviously, they're just as reluctant to go to the next spot with a high interest rate as well. They also, I think there's such a high percentage of people with an interest rate below 4%, below 3%, that for them to make a move,
it's got to make sense.
It's got to make sense for them, or like a life change or something like that. So that's keeping inventory levels low as well. So once interest rates drop to a certain level, and it's it seems there's a threshold. We don't always know what it is, but there seems to be a threshold at some point where it's a tipping point for a bunch more buyers to get back in the market. So when is that going to happen, and what will happen then?
Yeah.
The competition may come back as far as competing over these lower level inventory of homes. So, what's the opportunity there? Do you get into the market now and maybe be able to negotiate a lot more things, whether it's the purchase price, whether it's credits for buy downs, whatever it may be?
Got it.
Granted, we're at a slightly higher interest rate than we may be in 3 months, 6 months from now, but is the opportunity potentially better for you?
Yeah. I think the key with real estate, and I think where most people don't get in, is they're trying to time the market, right? And it's impossible to time the market. I bought my first house in 2005 at the height of the market, and it dropped about 50% in about 6 months. But I held on to that property, right? So the key to this is there's always opportunity, no matter what the market is, to get in, right?
Yeah, this goes back to kind of the start of our conversation about trying to figure out what this particular buyer's goals are. Are they planning to be here for a year and then they're going to move out of state for a new job transfer?
Sure.
Or is this their family home for the next 10, 15 years? Then that advice changes based upon that. And if that's the case, then you analyze accordingly.
Yeah. Love it.
Cool.